What's good, family? Shout out to my doggy, Hiten Patel, for boosting up your man the YB miserable coin situation. So we got some breaking news right now regarding your man's Daniel L. Trappahan, Kinahan, and his money laundering operation, MTK Global, aka Mac the Knife Global. Unfortunately, the decision has been made today to close the organisation. MTK Global have released the following statement. MTK Global to cease operations. As a business, we have faced unprecedented levels of unfair scrutiny and criticism since the sanctioning of the US government by the US government of Daniel Joseph Kinahan. It is a matter of public record that Mr. L. Trappahan's involvement in the MTK cartel ceased in 2017, and despite repeated reassurances in this regard, unfounded allegations about his ongoing association with us and our fighters persist. Since leading promoters have now informed us that they will be severing all ties with MTK and will no longer work with our fighters, we have taken the difficult decision to cease operations at the end of this month. MTK prospered because we always put the long-term interests of our fighters at the heart of what we do. Our priority in the weeks ahead will be to ensure that our world-class boxers are supported to find new partnerships as swiftly as possible. MTK gyms are operated independently, so will remain open for the foreseeable future. Further announcements will be made in due course. Thank you to all the fans who have supported our money laundering operation over the last decade. So we just heard there from MTK Global. Now, what can I say apart from I told you so? Oops, yeah? The YB was the first one, all these other goofy channels, when this news came out, the YB was the first one to tell you, man, that ESPN, aka the networks, and the promoters, and everyone else, because think about it, the reason the promoters, who owns the promoters? Who puts coin in the promoter's pocket? Yeah? Who signed Eddie Hearn? DAZN, aka Network. Yeah? Sky, aka Network. Those are the... So when you hear about, promoters... Wait there. Since leading promoters have informed us that they will be severing all ties with MTK, guess why promoters are severing? Promoters are severing because they're being told, listen, my name's Mr. Sky, yeah? My name is Mr. ESPN, and guess what? We can't afford to be putting fighters on our platforms. We are publicly run companies. They ain't going to be dealing... I mean, show me an example, yeah, of public run companies dealing with, especially at a public level, dealing with individuals who have been aired out by the US federal government. Show me an example. It don't exist. And the YB told you that. There was a whole bunch of goofy, low IQ mongoloids who were saying, no, YB, all this kind of stuff. Oops. Yeah? But I am surprised. So there's some allegations that there's a new outfit that's popped up called Pro Bellum. Yeah? Now, I've been following boxing for a while, and all of a sudden, about a few months ago, I started hearing this name, Pro Bellum. Never heard of it before. It's quite murky who be doing it. But I'm hearing now that essentially it shifted. The MTK money laundering operation has shifted now to Pro Bellum. That's what I'm hearing now. So don't be shocked if a lot of these fighters end up moving over straight to Pro Bellum. And to be honest with you, the key man I'm watching right now, is Ben Davidson. Let's see what he does. Because Ben Davidson has no value in the sport of boxing. His only value is to stay on MTK and or its affiliates, is Jebens. We know this categorically. We know Ben Davison is the opposite of any level of IQ in boxing. He will take a great fighter in Josh Taylor and turn him into food for the whole division. Do you understand? So watch what he does very carefully, because he ain't got no... Without them, he ain't nothing, because he's rubbish. You understand? So wherever he goes, you'll know that will be an MTK/Kinahan operation. Yeah? I'm not sure what Ben Davison, you know what I'm saying? I don't know, maybe one of them mans on the DL as well. Maybe Ben Davison stay, you know what I'm saying? All I'm thinking is maybe Ben Davison has offered up, you know what I mean, offered them cheeks up to some next executive at MTK. And that's the only thing that can make sense to me in my mind, 100%. Yeah? Ben Davison, them cheeks. What do we know about, listen, what do we know about Ben? Ben has a nice silky hair. No doubt there's some zesty MTK executive. He saw the silky hair and thought, damn, yeah, I want 100%. That's what happened. Anyway, moving on. I'm not shocked. Like I said, I told you it's what was coming. Yeah? No MTK fighter going to get put on right now. We've seen what happens. I mean, people were saying, even myself to some extent, I wasn't sure whether Tyson Fury would be able to be touched. But look at what's happened with Bob Arum. Yeah? Bob Arum is Audi. Bob Arum, Tyson Fury's biggest fighter, without a doubt, is Tyson Fury. And guess what? It took him 24 hours to jump all the way off the ship. And he's not even coming to the actual event anymore. That shows you how desperate this situation is. Because as far as cash cows go, Tyson Fury, the fact of the matter is, Tyson Fury is and was Bob Arum's biggest cash cow. And you see how quickly he got dropped by Bob. Yeah? It well and truly is what we call squeaky bum time. Do you understand? There's a whole bunch of bums and there's a whole bunch of squeaking going on right now. 100%. That's what is going on. No doubt about it. Going forward, I'm just intrigued to see what happens. In as much as there's for sure, what we know is when there's a lot of squeaky bum time, there's also a lot of, squeaky bum time and chatty patty go hand in hand. When people's bums start twitching, that's when their mouths start moving. And when the federal government, you best believe, the federal government is the number one cause of squeaky bum time and chatty patty. There's nothing will get a Nick's mouth moving like the feds. That's what we know for a fact. Yeah, when the feds start implying about 100 pieces, trust me, 100%. Yeah, if you're ain't gonna call. Listen, we can all talk about, oh man, I'm real. I'm gonna hold it down for the squad. But like I said, when you're sitting in front of a don and he's sitting there doing the maths on the 120 piece he's about to hand you. Listen, you got you on this charge, you got you on that charge, you got you on this charge. Next thing you know, like I said, that's a 120 piece. You know what I'm saying? You got 120 piece and a 60 piece of good behaviour. 60 piece? I'm 45-year-old. 60 piece? Do you know what I'm saying? 100%. You're going to be 105 years old. No one, or very few, especially, in 2022, I'm not sure there's any real ones. There used to be some real ones back in the 80s or whatever, who would hold their big, do you know what I'm saying? Who would hold their big football numbers. Not even football. In the UK, what would you call it? Big rugby numbers. Yeah? Because the feds be handing out rugby numbers and or American football numbers. That's what they be doing. So, in this day and age, people ain't built like that. Yeah? And that's why I'm very intrigued. Not only that though, the feds have also put out a big bonus. So I wouldn't have thought it takes long. Certainly within the next year, we're going to find out how certified Mr. Trapahan is. In as much as it's going to go one of two ways. Yeah? El Trapahan, the Kinahan organisation, is either going to go... in a year from now, we'll know more or less whether or not the Kinahan organisation is just another statistic, i.e. another mob boss gets got, or we'll most likely know that they're running one of the tightest traps, if not the tightest trap of all time. Yeah, because if it turns out a year from now they're still roaming about the place and the feds can't make nothing stick, That's unheard of, because people talk about, there's a man called John Gotti, he was messy anyway, but he was known as a Teflon Don because every time he went to court, it wouldn't stick. Yeah, but the point is, he was always in court. Do you understand? This cat here, Kinahan, had never been to court. That's the real. But yeah, the thing is as well, it's one thing not going to court. It's another thing being in the public eye and then not going to court. Of course, there's criminals we never heard of who avoid whatever, but to be out and about and all in the video, it's never been done before. I can't think of one example of a narcotraficante who can be all in the video like that and not get, you know what I'm saying, not get touched. So the odds are, historically speaking, he's as good as got. But let's see. Like I said, I'm not a historian, but I don't remember it. I don't really remember the feds begging for information like this before. Normally, the feds have you, if you get what I'm saying. Normally, there's nothing and then there's an indictment. Very rarely do you hear about the feds begging for information. That must show, really. That in itself shows that Kinahan running a tight ship. But it might be the case, as I speculated the other day, that maybe he genuinely has been out of the business for 10 years, and that's why it's going to be very difficult to find something now, because, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it? If the Kinahans had $1 billion plus 10 years ago. Why would you carry on for? Only the dopey ones carry on. Only the greedy ones carry on. So it may end up very hard. Although, what I would say is that one thing I've always wondered about law enforcement, surely people have to prove. For example, we all know where Jeff Bezos got his money from. Do you understand? Okay, well, he started a company called Amazon and the stock went through the roof. Fine. Why? Surely the feds can go to Kinahan and say, listen, where's your money come from? Because as far as we're concerned, money don't drop out of thin air. And I'm pretty sure there's some sort of law called, I think in Ireland it's called the Criminal Assets Bureau. And essentially they should be able to go around and say, if you can't prove where you got it from, it's ours. Oops. So I'm not sure why that hasn't been done on a big international scale yet. I'm pretty sure recently, in the last few years, I think in Portugal or something, the Kinahan or some agency took about a couple $100 million worth of real estate from Kinahan, and they ended up having to hand it back. So I don't know what to believe. It's super. Oh, it's interesting, is what it is. No doubt about it. I can't wait for. Listen, what we know is I can't wait for the Netflix on this one. You best believe it too. 100%.